Good morning, guys. Kind of a cold morning out here. Got cloudy skies. It's about 57 degrees, and in Colorado, it's 47 degrees. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Colorado today. Colorado just finished a very close election on the topic of the wolf. So we're gonna talk about the wolf today. How many wolves do you think there should be in the wild? You might think that you don't have the power to decide such big details about nature, but you really do. Wolves used to roam over 2/3 of the contiguous United States. That basically means all of the states that are connected and touching each other. 2/3 of that area used to be wolf territory. Right now, California only has one wolf pack up north in Lassen County. And from 1924 to 2011, it appears there were no wolf packs at all in California. What happened to them all? People. People settled the lands of the Americas in the 1700s and 1800s, spreading west from the East Coast, spreading out what they called manifest destiny, taking over and putting up new settlements in all kinds of areas that people weren't living in large numbers before. When they came, there were two things that happened that negatively affected the wolves. First, the wolves went hungry. Wolves are apex predators. That means that they're at the top of the food chain. They're consumers of consumers. They hunt everything and almost nothing hunts them. When more people came, they were hunting the deer and the bison, and there were less opportunities for the wolves to eat what they normally ate. The wolves were hungry. Now, if you think this is an exaggeration, consider that the American bison population was in the range of about 15 million head of bison in the 1700s. And then by the 1880s, it was down to about 100 head of bison. That's a huge, huge population change, and it was all because of people. People came, people hunted them mostly for their skins, mostly for the fur that come off of the bison, mostly for the horns and the tongues, but they would leave the rest of the body. It was really wasteful, but it destroyed these populations, and the wolves were now hungry because they didn't have the things that they normally ate. We brought livestock, we brought cattle. The cattle ranchers come in and they bring their cattle, and their cattle herds are roaming over the land, and the wolves are hungry, and the hungry wolves start preying on the cattle. Because cattle are a lot like bison. The second thing that happened was the ranchers protected their herds. The ranchers saw that the wolves are starting to eat the bison, so they're going to start shooting the wolves. Wolves became the enemy, and as many were killed as possible. In fact, they were paid to be killed. Hunters would get bounties. That means that they would be paid an extra bonus if they killed some more wolves. It wasn't just opportunity or defense. They were doing everything that they could to destroy the wolf packs. Wolves were a worldwide species, but in many regions, the wolf population became extinct, like in California, where we had 0 wolves from 1924 to 2011. Beginning in the 1970s, people began putting legal protections on animals that were on the verge of extinction, and wolves were benefiting from that. Their populations began to grow. In 1995, we reintroduced wolves to Yellowstone National Park, and there are a lot of studies that show how much that affected the park in positive ways. Things from the plants to the animals to even the river was something that changed because of the fact that wolves were there now. In Colorado, they had a proposal on the ballot deciding whether or not to reintroduce wolves to the southern Rocky Mountains. And this was another close election. Some people really didn't want the wolves to be reintroduced, and some people really did. And the people that voted to have them reintroduced won. It's still controversial. Ranchers still see wolves as a threat. The question is, should we reintroduce the bison also? Will the wolves have a sufficient food supply? We still have a lot to learn about wolves, but we've learned so much already. Wildlife management is a complex challenge. We as humans have the power to change our natural environment and affect the life of what tries to live there. The question remains, how much do we change and how much do we leave alone? Have a great day, guys.